The job is good. The degree is respectable. The apartment is nice. And yet, you're one emergency away from being broke. Rent is up. Groceries are up. Health insurance is up. But your paycheck? That thing moves slower than a government line. What if I told you the middle class you were promised doesn't really exist anymore, and that trying to play it safe is now the riskiest financial move you can make? In this video, I'm going to show you why the middle class is disappearing, how that affects your 20s and 30s, and how you can turn this broken system into your biggest opportunity instead of your prison. Let's get into it. Let's start with a simple question. When you hear middle class, what do you picture? A small house, 2 cars, college for the kids, a couple of vacations a year, retirement at 65 with enough to relax. That picture wasn't just a lifestyle, it was a promise. Work hard, get a degree, find a stable job, buy a house, and the system would take care of you. For your parents or grandparents, that deal, while not perfect, was at least somewhat real. For you, that deal is mostly dead. So what happened? Why is the middle class disappearing? There are 4 big reasons, and understanding them is how you stop blaming yourself for a rigged game and start playing a different one. Reason number 1: wages versus cost of living. In many countries, wages for normal jobs have been crawling, while housing, education, healthcare, and food have been sprinting. Your grandparents could buy a house with a single income. Today, 2 incomes can barely rent something decent in a big city. So you can be middle class on paper, but in reality, you're a couple of missed paychecks away from panic. You're not failing, the math is. Reason number 2: the asset game. The game shifted from work hard, get paid, to own assets, get rich. Stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property. People who owned assets watched their wealth grow while they slept. People who only had a paycheck watched their bills grow while they worked. The middle class, for decades, was told, just work hard, save a little, and you'll be fine. But nobody told them, if you don't own assets, you're basically running on a treadmill while the rich are on an escalator. Reason number 3: globalization and technology. You're not competing with your city anymore. You're competing with the world, and with software. Companies don't care if you live 5 minutes from the office. They care about output, cost, and scalability. That safe job can be automated, outsourced, or turned into a contract gig with no benefits. The middle-class model was built on stable, long-term employment, but the modern economy is built on flexibility and leverage. Reason number 4: debt as a lifestyle. The old promise said, go to college, get a degree, you'll be set. Now you graduate with a piece of paper and a financial anchor, student loans, car loans, credit card debt, all to maintain the appearance of being middle class. You're not building wealth, you're renting a lifestyle from the bank. So if you feel like you're stuck, behind, or constantly anxious about money, you're not crazy, you're not lazy. You're living in a system that's optimized to keep you barely comfortable, but never free. But here's the twist. When a system breaks for most people, it creates huge opportunities for the few who understand what's actually going on. And that's where your 20s and 30s come in. Your 20s and 30s can be one of 2 things: a trap where you chase a dying middle-class dream, or a cheat code where you quietly build a life that almost nobody around you understands. Let me show you the difference. First, the trap version. Meet Laura. She's 29. She did everything right. She went to college, graduated, got an office job, pays rent in a decent area, has a car loan, a little credit card debt, and a tiny retirement account. Her money flow looks like this: paycheck, rent, car, debt, groceries, weekend, repeat. She's not poor, but she's not building escape velocity either. She's running in circles, but the circle is getting more expensive every year. Fast forward 10 years. She has a bit more income, but also higher lifestyle, maybe kids, maybe a mortgage, maybe more debt. She's stuck in what I call the polite financial prison. Nice life. Zero freedom. That's the modern middle class. Now, the cheat code version. Meet Daniel. same age, similar background, totally different choices. He also has a job, but he treats that job as his first investor, not his identity. Instead of upgrading his car, his phone, or his apartment, he upgrades something else: his skills, his network, and his asset base. In his 20s and 30s, he focuses on 3 cheat codes: skill stacking, high leverage income, and aggressive asset building. Let's break those down, because this is where you turn the death of the middle class into your opportunity. Cheat code number 1, skill stacking. Most people chase titles: manager, senior something, director. What you should chase instead is rare, valuable skills. Not just one, but a stack of them. For example, copywriting plus basic design plus marketing analytics, coding plus product thinking plus communication, sales plus public speaking plus negotiation. Individually, each skill is decent. Combined, they become uncommon. And uncommon gets paid. You don't need 10 skills, you need 3 or 4 that work together. The middle-class mindset says, let me do just enough to not get fired. The new wealth mindset says, let me become so useful that people fight to overpay me. In your 20s and 30s, every hour you spend on Netflix could have been one more rep on a skill that makes you unfireable and in demand. Cheat code number 2, high leverage income. The disappearing middle class is built on linear income. I trade my time for money. The new rich build high leverage income. I use skills, tools, and systems so my time is worth more. Ask yourself, how can I make my hour worth 5 times more? Some ways. Move from back office tasks to sales, growth, or revenue-related roles. Learn to build or manage systems, software, automations, ads, funnels. Work in fields where your output is directly tied to performance, commissions, bonuses, profit share. You don't have to quit your job and start a risky startup tomorrow. But you do need to position yourself in roles where the upside is uncapped, or the skills transfer easily if the company disappears. Middle-class logic is safe job, fixed salary. New game logic is valuable skills, leveraged work, upside potential. Cheat code number 3, aggressive asset building. Remember earlier when I said the game shifted from work hard to own assets? This is where you stop being only a consumer and start being an owner. Your goal in your 20s and 30s should be simple. Use your income to buy as many future paychecks as you can. Those future paychecks are stocks and index funds, real estate, directly or indirectly, online businesses or side hustles that produce cash flow, digital assets, content libraries, courses, software, intellectual property. Most people do the opposite. They use their income to buy payments, car payments, phone payments, furniture payments, subscription payments. You want to buy assets that pay you, not liabilities that take money away from you. Even if you start small, like 5 or 10% of your income, the key is to start, keep it consistent, and grow that percentage as your income rises. Now, let's zoom out. How do you turn all of this into something real and not just motivational noise? Here's a simple 10-year framework you can adapt. Years 1 to 3. Escape the just surviving zone. Cut the fake middle-class lifestyle. Downgrade the car. Find cheaper rent. Kill unnecessary subscriptions. Use the breathing room to destroy high-interest debt and start a bare minimum investing habit, even if it's tiny. Pick your skill stack and do deliberate practice every week. Online courses, projects, freelancing, anything that gives you reps. Your goal in this phase is simple. Move from fragile to stable. Years 3 to 7. Build high leverage income. Use your upgraded skills to negotiate a better paying role, switch companies, or move into more leveraged fields like sales, tech, or growth. Launch or test small side hustles, freelancing, consulting, content creation, small online businesses. Funnel every raise, bonus, or new income stream into assets, not lifestyle. Your goal here: Grow your earning power so you can buy more assets faster. Year 7 to 10. Build freedom options. By this point, if you've been stacking skills, keeping lifestyle creep under control, and consistently buying assets, start to see something powerful. Your investments and side projects begin to generate meaningful income. Maybe not full retirement money yet, but enough to give you options. Options to work less, to say no to toxic jobs, to take career risks, to move to a cheaper city while keeping a high-income remote job. This is where you exit the middle-class trap, not because you won the lottery, but because you quietly played a different game for 10 years. So is the system unfair? Yes. Is the middle class as your parents knew it disappearing? Also yes. But you have two choices. 1. Complain and hope things go back to normal. Spoiler, they won't. 2. Accept the new rules and use them to your advantage. Because here's the truth. In a world where jobs are unstable, skills are your security. In a world where wages stagnate, assets are your escape. In a world where the middle class is disappearing, playing the old game is the real risk. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be born rich. You just need to be willing to delay some flexing, learn faster than your friends, and buy assets while everyone else buys status. The middle class is disappearing. For most people, that's a tragedy. For you, if you choose, it can be the wake-up call that changes everything. If this message hit you, take one small action in the next 30 days. Learn one new skill rep. Increase your investment by even a tiny amount, or cut one fake middle-class expense and redirect that money into your future. Your parents had the old deal. You don't. But you have something else. The chance to play a new game with your eyes open. Your freedom won't come from the system. It will come from your decisions. And those decisions start now.